break them live and in person. And yeah, we did 93 of these bitches over fucking, FaceTime and video chat. And to be here with my boy for episode 94, International Fight Week. Let's go. Super stoked on it. And we've been waiting for this moment a long time. Let us know if you're enjoying, the dynamic of us being live in person as opposed to the video chat style podcast. I mean, I know from doing it perspective, I'm really enjoying it. Leading off the main card, UFC 276, we got Sean O'Malley, and we all know Sean O'Malley likes the green, so we're going to get...
And Happy Dads.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley likes the green, likes the Happy Dads, so we're going to, kick it off in true Sugar Sean style.
Yeah, now this is my favorite 4-fight main card we've ever had on a pay-per-view. I really love that. Love whenever there's no contest on the main card, so I have to call it a 4-fight main card because one was not a contest.
Yeah, never took place, never happened, which is a big waste of time, but we'll get to that. Coming in here, we got number 13th ranked fan favorite, Sean O'Malley, coming in at -305, and fighting Pedro Munoz plus 255, coming in ranked number 9. I thought Pedro Munoz was ranked 10, but he was ranked 9 in this one.
Yeah, well, I said this last night. 13 versus 9 in the bantamweight division opens the main card. I know it's Sean O'Malley's name, so that's a big part of it. 13 versus 9 in middleweight wraps up the early prelims.
Yeah,
just some juxtaposition. Now we both disagree with that fight's card placement.
Yeah, and we both really like Muniz. Like, if you think Muniz is a snoozy grappler, I think
they're missing out on Muniz's potential.
Muniz is very well-rounded, very exciting fighter, very dangerous fighter. But yeah, Sean O'Malley, star power. Let's be real. And then this is just the question, I would say as old as time, but as old as Sean O'Malley's hype. Like, what does he look like against a top guy? I mean, we've said it a million times. Every other podcast said it a million times. Every ESPN show's happened a million times. Every MMA fan watching a Sean O'Malley fight with his bros, drinking some beers, has uttered those words. Anybody that knows Sugar Sean and has watched these dominant performances, these fan-friendly finishes, these bonuses, I mean, but we all have that same question mark. All right, but he's been accused of being a can crusher. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah, it's like this koozie,
crushing cans,
made for cans.
Made for cans. Sean O'Malley, too loose for the bottle. But it was fair. Now, people in the heavy and Sugar Sean side of things will be like, oh, you can only beat who he's put in front of. I know fighter pay was a big part of that argument. I'll fight top guys when they're paying me to fight top guys. Maybe there's something to that. You could argue that's how you get those kind of checks, is by fighting a top guy.
That's my problem. Is like, I realize that Sean O'Malley is worth a lot of money, right? Like, his brand, what he can bring with selling like a fight night. Like, he sells out a fight night already.
Yeah.
No doubt, right? Like, he's like a junior Paddy Pimblett.
I would say he's like an American Paddy Pimblett, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's very fair.
I think that's very comparable as well in the way that they like act, the way that they kind of like, Sean also plays video games on Twitch and makes money doing the Twitch thing.
He makes more money playing video games than he does fighting.
He's sponsored by Stake Gambling, so like he'll gamble with their like house money for free and like be live on Twitch doing it. So he is paid through them. He has his own essentially Puffco style dab rig he sells.
Yeah.
His own merch, of course, sells a ton of
Oh, he crushes merch. Which he has the best merch. His merch is sick. Like, his merch
is sick. And then the distribution, I found out, is the Nelk Boys helping with his distribution and creation.
Yeah, you can tell.
It's like, I mean, Sean O'Malley doesn't even really need the UFC. I mean, he does.
He does, though.
Because he needs to keep winning, and he needs to...
Exactly.
He needs to continue to rise to the ranks.
If he's fighting in Bellator or PFL, nobody gives a fuck. I'm sorry. Like, there's something... I mean, maybe the video game fans do, but like...
I mean, ask Ray McDonald.
Seriously. No, yeah, he was a huge star. He's only 29 years old.
He's only 29?
Yeah. He's like a Max Holloway type shit. Like, he's been fighting forever.
Roy was so good at 22 and 23.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. But a little off the train here. But like I said, anytime Sugar Sean fights, there's gonna be, hype. There's gonna be media, and there's gonna be implications for the division. Most importantly, because hype, the tangible results of hype are climbing the rankings faster. Now you can argue right, wrong, or indifferent, but that's just the case that be. So it's like, yeah, we don't care how many Twitch views he's getting, but what I'm saying, how it impacts us as fight fans and as people who follow the UFC. A win over Pedro Munoz here, I mean,
it's a big deal.
It's a big
deal. It gets
fucking
him
deal.
inside the top 10, which means he can fight anyone else in plausibly in bantamweight, and you really can't say it's a mismatch.
No.
Because I think if anyone's inside the top 10, that means they could, on a late replacement, fight number 1 or 2 and still be like at least a good match.
Well, especially in that division. And if you're top 10 in the deepest division, I mean,
that's
you're a top guy.
To your point, that's a great point.
You're a top guy. So, we got O'Malley. We got Munoz. We liked O'Malley. I didn't bet this fight at all. Harrison took the O'Malley. Did you take the money line and the under?
I took money line and under in 2 of them, and then I took money line O'Malley and over in 1 of them.
Yeah, he had a little hedge card that he did, which, you know, if you know about gambling, you know about hedging your bets. But overall, we liked O'Malley. He said he took the one over.
I have some very interesting stats, by the way, that we haven't broken down yet.
Oh, cool.
Just looked up. These are going to blow you away after. So we watched the press conferences and such. O'Malley made the assertion. Well, actually, we should get to it. We should get to it.
Yeah, for sure. So starting off, we haven't completed round 1, and that round was scored. And how I saw it versus how I've heard other podcasters talk about it, and how I've seen, like, you know, the Twitter judges, and I haven't checked verdict, but a lot of people liked what Munoz did in round 1. And I hate to do this, but this is a point where it actually makes sense. Like, if you don't know what you're watching, it would very much seem obvious it was Munoz. Now, there are some people that do know what they're talking about that still liked Munoz, but Munoz was throwing heavy leg kicks. A lot of them. You could argue he was spamming them. They were getting checked to all hell. And, like...
For context, Pedro Munoz landed 26 strikes in this fight. He landed 26 leg kicks and probably got 8 of them checked.
Are you shitting me? He
didn't
didn't punch O'Malley once?
He threw 11 punches and didn't land 1.
Wow.
If that doesn't tell you.
Wow.
I mean, that backs me up.
Well, and like I said, those leg kicks that were quote-unquote landing were getting checked. And like I said, I'm not some striking expert. They were like, you could hear it. Like, it was gnarly checks. Like, clunk. Like, you know what I mean?
Like one literally hurt him. Like, when he threw a left leg kick, and me and you both go, oh, that was a bad check. And then Pedro was moving weird on him.
And I never even used, those words never even come out of my mouth. I watch fights every week, and I never bring up checking leg kicks, like, ever. These were that obvious and that impactful to the fight. Like, it literally was the story of the first round. Like, how often do we talk about checking leg kicks? I mean, we always talk about a guy should check a leg kick whenever a guy gets his leg beat up. But we never bring up the X's and O's of checking leg kicks. But it was like the single most impactful, like, I don't know, you can't call it a position, but, you know, exchange, like,
yeah,
it was what, in my opinion.
And O'Malley landed 22 punches to the head and body by the time the fight gets to the mid-second round.
Okay. And so, but regardless, kind of a slow first round, by no means a banger.
So, not a banger at all. I scored it 10-9 to O'Malley. I think the check leg kicks, if we were checking kicks and it's hurting your opponent, you're doing damage to them. I don't care if you're not starting the action. It's like a check. It's like a counter hook, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to start the sequence to be the one that does the damage.
Well, and O'Malley did land one big right. Now, it was just one.
Yeah, the snipe shot across the top.
It was a big right hand. Like, it's a punch that we have seen him drop people with.
Yes,
like,
for sure.
And the spinning body kick was pretty gnarly, too. Nobody's bringing that up.
And that's he only landed 3 kicks. So for that to be one of them.
It was impactful.
Yes.
Like, the most impactful strike of the fight. The 2 most impactful strikes of the round were from O'Malley, plus the check leg kicks, plus I think he stuffed a takedown attempt or 2 or Pedro, or at least disengaged from the clinch. So really he was shutting down everything Munoz was trying to do and trying to accomplish. And then, like I said, to a kind of small degree, but he was having his own success.
I agree.
Like, I honestly don't get given the round to Munoz. Now,
I don't.
I respect
everyone on Twitter.
But
everyone on Twitter was literally 10-9 Munoz, 10-9 Munoz. Hey, whenever he's having trouble standing and walking and bouncing on the leg after he's throwing kicks, Clearly, he's taking the damage.
Yeah, like I said, I rarely like sticking my pinky up and calling people casuals, but this is a time where I just...
It's one of the most casual things of all time. Now, that being said, you scored at 10-9 O'Malley?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Doug Crosby and Mike Bell disagree with this. They scored at 10-9 Pedro Munoz in the first. One judge, Sal D'Amato, who I think is the best judge in MMA, scored at 10-9 for O'Malley.
Yeah, that's weird, man. It's real weird. No, I guess there's something to be said. I guess octagon control and Munoz was moving forward, but I just don't think that factors in. Like by definition, that's the third criteria, and we met the first two criterias first: effective striking, offensive grappling.
Yeah.
O'Malley won those two, so like when you have a winner in those two, you don't go to octagon control. Like, that's literally.
Well, and he
what the
won
rule
like
book
effective
says.
defense as well, if you ask me, because he was defending so much better than Pedro as well.
Everything, like,
So,
like Pedro Munoz was like 0 for. I mean, literally 0 for on punches, 0 for on takedown attempts.
Imagine not connecting with your hand once in your professional fighter.
Well, and also, like I said, he landed 20 some odd leg kicks. I mean, what, 13 of them were checked? I mean, like, you know what I mean? It was.
I mean, this dude was seeing ghosts. He couldn't hit Sean O'Malley. He could literally only leg kick him.
No, for sure, man.
And he was getting checked to the point where, like, he was going to have to stop leg kicking. Now, okay, so we get a second round.
Low blow to Munoz, too, in the first round, just real quick, just to touch on that. But no point was deducted.
Questionable low blow, too.
Questionable
the heel
low blow.
lands on the top piece of the cup.
And it makes me wonder if the people, like, factor that in. Like I can't think of another reason why you'd give it to Munoz. Like did they kind of quasi, even if it was like unconscious bias, like did they factor it in? Like I may have been guilty of that in the past. I don't know, but like it was weird to me. I really don't say you give round one to Munoz. No, I do because, and we'll get to this later, the rounds without a lot of action are actually what are the hardest to score. People think that the insane wars are the hardest to score. Not true.
No, we have a war coming up. I thought it was easier to score than a round with nothing that ever happened.
So there was an element of that, right?
Yes.
Because it wasn't the most action-heavy round for either fighter.
Yeah, that being said, though, I think the damage was clear. Like, I think one guy was getting touched up with damage, and O'Malley looked completely fine.
Yeah, I agree. Now,
but there wasn't even that much redness on his legs.
I gotta pop the air out of the balloon real quick here because this fight does not see a conclusion, and you may think, "Oh shit, dope! Did somebody get knocked out?" Nope, way less cool. We get an eye poke from O'Malley to Munoz in the second round, and didn't appear to be the worst eye poke in the world. Now that's subjective, and who knows how Pedro was feeling. Some are arguing that he was kind of Aljamain Sterling it up a little bit.
I think he was a lot, bro.
I've seen some pictures of Pedro today. Have you? Have you seen any pictures going around of Pedro's eye?
So that's what I was looking for. This isn't that bad to me.
No, it's not that bad.
I mean, this isn't even finger down. It's literally finger like hitting you with like the top part. Like he got his eye squished, not even poked, but like squished, like the finger laid over into this.
So Pedro's coming out saying he has like a scratched cornea, and his eye is like swollen shut still today. So it's like I think a little time is making Pedro look a little better. In the moment, it looked like he was being dramatic.
Yeah, did he get a scratch cornea from getting poked in the eye though?
I think so. I mean, I don't know.
He didn't walk out, by the way.
What do you mean?
Like Pedro Munoz said he couldn't walk because he couldn't perceive depth from not having his use of his eye.
Yeah,
they pulled a stretcher in the octagon and took him on a stretcher. How whack is this guy sounding right now? Bro, you know why he did that? Because his legs were done. He couldn't walk.
Now that's a good point.
He couldn't fucking walk, and if he started to walk and was limping and acting like he could barely move, we were all going to know what the fuck happened.
No, I do got to say, this might surprise you, maybe it won't. In all my years, I mean, I played football my entire life. The most painful, not the most damaging, the most painful thing that ever happened to me on a football field was getting poked in the eye really bad. It fucking sucks dick. Like, I think I had to sit out the rest of practice, or at least like a good, more than 5 minutes worth of practice. I was fucked up. Now, that personal experience for me kind of changes how I view eye pokes. Like, because, and it's always weird when the guy who's losing the fight or isn't losing the fight somehow on other people. But we saw losing the fight. That kind of lends it to, he was looking for a way out of there. But, I mean, people had him winning it. I'm going to go ahead and give Pedro the benefit of the doubt. Prelim Pedro. I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now that's with hindsight. In the moment, off a couple brewskis and some Hallerhead, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely pulling an Aljo. But
I'm still with that.
you're still with.
I'm not receding from that. The stretcher completely sells the idea that his legs were done and he couldn't do it any longer.
His eyes like fuck though. Like what I'm saying is those things aren't mutually exclusive.
All right, let me see Pedro Munoz's eye. Right
Yeah, like he's pulling it up. He hasn't seen a picture. If you guys out there have seen a picture, I mean, it's like literally like flat shut. Like it's.
Well, that's not how you spell Munoz, is it?
There's an H.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Leave it in the comments below. What did you guys think? Did you think he was hamming it up and pulling an Aljamain Sterling or looking for a way out of the fight, or did you think Pedro Munoz was winning the fight and he got wronged and he got fouled? Yeah, let me know what you think. But this fight's ruled a no contest, and
I mean, he's saying that he couldn't see for. God,
PR betting.
The pictures of Aljo laying on the ground. Dude, it's savagery out here. I'm trying to see this man's eye. I can't find the updated photo. It's all good. Oh.
Yeah, that's it. That's the picture I saw. And that's like 24 hours later. It's fucked.
That looks like he's winking at me, bro. What are you talking about?
It's completely like flat and like.
All right, well, fuck him. I'm not on his team. Team O'Malley. 17-0.
Oh God, I'm with even saying 16-1, but I think you want to talk about leg kick damage. I mean, I think the Cheeto win is totally valid. I get the troll drop, masterful, one of my favorite troll drops ever. Like, great troll drop, but
he's 17-0.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, coming up, man, we got a banger. We got a war. So
we're bullish on this fight.
And also let us know if you know what happens with the no contest in a parlay.
Yeah,
like, does he get his money back? Because there's like parlays that he hits if they remove the leg, or if I don't know if the whole bet is just a scratch, a push.
So look at this: no decision per Nevada Athletic Commission.
Yeah, I think that's just like their verbiage of no contest. Like I think that's like synonyms. No contest and no decision, I think, are like the same.
A no decision though, I don't think is. I think that awards you might just void the bet and get the money back.
Maybe. Yeah, because leave us a comment if you've ever had a bet in a parlay where you hit the rest of the parlay, but that fight was a no contest. Let us know what your experiences are with that.
Like, do you lose the leg and just reduce your multiplier, or do you null and void your bet and get your winnings back, or is it actually a loss and there was a bet option that you could bet no decision?
Yeah, or you just host. Like, is there? Pretty much the three choices there. We don't know. We're gonna find out tomorrow when we go cash these tickets.
But as you were saying, the next fight, ultra gas, ultra even. If you really look at it, I mean, we get -110 on both sides. Robbie Lawler, the legend, ruthless Robbie Lawler,
former champ,
versus Brian Barberena. Should be the Barbarian. He's not. It's really dumb.
Goes by Bam Bam.
Yeah, Bam
Which
Bam
is
Barberena.
Bam Bam's Tuivasa, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He took it over.
Yeah, tied.
That's right, mate. That's right. Let's go. Let's get some shoes.
I hate you,
I'm
man.
hammering the fucking Tuivasa plus 400 against Gaunt.
He's plus 400.
I think so, yeah. And who knows what like by finish or KO is, because that's what's gonna.
Wow.
Yeah, let's
go.
New
New South Wales, NSW, mate. What is it for the area? What is it?
I don't fucking know.
It's FTA, yeah, for the area.
FTA, yeah.
Because it's.
Oh yeah, I fuck with Tuivasa
though, but I'm sorry, yeah. So taking place at welterweight. Now, what our bets are on this that are huge that end up not mattering.
I have a whole parlay just on this fight. I have a two-legger just on this fight that I hit or did not hit because I don't want to spoil it. But I had a two-legger on this parlay, and one of that included under 2.5. I love the under 2.5. These are both guys with that have a reckless style that go to war. One guy being older had. I honestly thought this one would be an under 1.5. I thought the line would be at 1.5.
Look at those.
Yeah. So Harrison.
Those are tough.
Yeah. So we had multiple bets on this fight, one of which being the under 2.5, and
I also had Barberena even on the money line.
Yep, and fight taking place in the welterweight division, and I think a lot. I honestly was surprised that Barberena wasn't a bigger favorite. He's looked really good lately.
Yeah, I thought
much
Lawler looked
younger.
incredibly good.
And I mean, was 12 years younger than Lawler? He's like 28, 29, I think. Barberena, or maybe he's 32, 33. But
I think he's 7 years younger. I think he's like 32.
Yeah. So I mean, much younger guy. Now Lawler's coming off the Nick Diaz win, which I know when you beat Nick Diaz, like it means something, and people are going to be stoked on it. I think Diaz didn't show up, or that was a weird situation with that whole fight, and I just kind of don't put that much stock in the Diaz win. Like, what was that showed up that night? It definitely wasn't a ready to go Nick Diaz. Like, he looked like he did
the worst Nick Diaz I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that impacted this line. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Bam Bam just turned 33 about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, and Lawler's 40.
Yes, you're right. Damn, I didn't realize it was 40. But yes, you're also right that I do think that impacted the line.
Yeah, it had to have, man, because like a lot of shit like points to Barberena in this, especially like Barberena's a brawler, right? Lawler's a guy that'll trade with you and will get hit, and kind of a brawler in his own right. And unless, like I said, I was a little nervous that Lawler was going to just pull the old head and just wrestle and just kind of grind it out and just get a score, get a decision. But I knew at the end of the day these guys were going to go to war, and I thought a war favored Barberena.
Me too. I'm completely with you. It was all about would Robbie Lawler be smart enough to not engage in the war.
Yes.
And honestly, he did a fucking fantastic job with that in the first round for the most part. Now, Barberena's volume was off the charts insane.
Yeah, and Barberena's ability to land standing elbows. Like, he was throwing, like, high, like John
Lawler's
Jones elbows.
Uppercuts were cracking Barberena.
Yeah, Lawler's landing the uppercuts, but Barberena was landing the elbows. I had a 10-9 Barberena. I thought the volume, the strike numbers were definitely in his favor. Barberena threw 190 strikes in round one. That's a real stat.
Insane.
That's a nuts. That's like Holloway.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. He threw 317 total.
Yeah.
So that means he can.
Lawler's cardio. I mean, Barberena's cardio was nuts last night.
That means he threw 126 more in the second round.
Yeah, this fight only lasts 2 rounds, which means the under cashes. Let's go.
Yeah, that was gas. I was getting nervous. We'll dive into it. Although I will say the judges, 2 judges had this round to Robbie Lawler. 1 judge had this to Barberena.
Really? 2 judges gave round 1 to Lawler?
Yeah, one of those judges Adelaide Bird. So we're
That's
just not
weird.
Even count it.
I was seeing shit different last night, man. Like I was disagreeing with some judges last night. I was disagreeing with Twitter last night.
Were you seeing it different though? Because I was seeing it the same as you. Like maybe it was our TV.
Right? Is something going on?
It was our TV.
Something going on with my HD
That's
TV.
what it was.
I don't know, man. But yeah, man. Round 1, we had it to Barberena. People can disagree with that. I'll be real. I didn't even think that was like a controversial thing when I wrote it down. Like I didn't think, oh, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm gonna give it Barberena a hot take 10-9. Like I was like, oh yeah, Barberena won that round. Like I mean, it was a war.
No,
both men had success.
Yeah, literally, my notes are sick first round, not close, nothing like
Fun.
that, not hard to score.
Badass.
Yeah, fun, great, entertaining. Barberena 10-9.
Yeah, for sure, man. Saw it the same way. Now round 2, Barberena. He starts to land some shots. As I said, there have been some elbows, a lot of damage. I mean, the volume mixed with the power, mixed with the elbows, was just a ruthless combo from Barberena. Like, it's not often that all those three are said in the same sentence. There's usually a volume puncher. It's going to be a lot of jabs. Usually a power puncher is not going to have the volume. And then usually, like guys throwing high-level standing step-in elbows and shit is usually somewhere in between. The fact that Barberena was able to kind of check all 3 of those boxes, impressive as fuck.
I can't believe his cardio held up, and I can't believe his chin held up while being so like cardio active.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Instead of radioactive, you're cardio active.
He was cardio active for sure, but it just piled on. Lawler held up good. I mean, there's a lot of guys that would have got out of there a lot sooner than Lawler. I mean, he lived up to the reputation of being tough, being a warrior.
He was so good in the pocket, though. Really, I mean, he wasn't eating all those shots clean. Like, he was making those, like, dirty shots, and that's why Barberena had to land
I said, if it wasn't for the elbows, this is a very different fight.
Now that's where the fight changes,
Yes.
right? Is about 4 minutes left in the second round, and we're screaming for it. We're clamoring. Like, these guys have been going to war for 9 minutes. Like, there's no way they can continue standing.
Yeah.
And so, and Barberena is looking pretty strong at that
Yeah.
point. So for us, it's like, okay, well, the guy we want to win and our under, the under either.
The
guy
under
can win.
and the Barberena was looking real nice.
And then Barberena's just piecing him up. And D-Mac's calling for it, screaming.
I'm literally
for
screaming
bows.
at my TV.
Elbows, throw a bow. And I swear, as soon as Barberena hits the one, it's like he just started like walking him down with elbow strikes, with uppercut combos.
It was sick.
Awesome.
It was violent. It was awesome. And then it started to get to the point where Lawler kind of started to shell up, and then Barberena. It was weird. I didn't know if he was able to like the pace he was at. How do you increase the pace? And he still managed to do it to get the finish.
Yeah. So check this out. I listened to the at least the first start of the Brendan Schaub's Calabasas Fight Companion, right? And he had Josh Thompson and Luke Rockhold on to call the fights with him. Yeah.
sick.
And then another comedian, Trevor Wallace, who.
Trevor Wallace, that's
I
fine. Yeah, he's a hilarious guy. That's
Is he wearing pit vipers? Well, ain't mine.
That guy's awesome. Fuck yeah, that sounds fun. I'll have to check that out.
Fun TikTok follow, Trevor Wallace for all you guys. Yeah, it was awesome. Luke Rockhold seems very, like, he seems poised as shit. Like, he seemed, like, aggressive about how he was like, I'm ready to fucking fight again. Like, which I'm pumped for.
But hasn't he pulled out of like 2 fights? So it's like that.
Said his body's never felt better. I don't know. Maybe
I think he's pulled out of his last 2 fights.
maybe he's on his Rockhold shit. I don't know.
Yeah, man. That's
Anyway, point being is that they're watching it and they're all calling for, like, they all start like, stop the fight. Like, so I at first was like, because who was the ref on that? Did you ever written down?
No.
I have it written right here. It's Mark Smith. Exactly who I fucking knew it had to be for this bullshit to happen. Mark Smith doesn't stop fights anymore.
Yeah, Mark Smith has gotten a
That's a
long
problem,
leash.
Mark Smith. That's a problem.
Which I know we complain when it's the other way, but it's like, yeah, there is a sweet spot and you need to be in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can't be too soon and it can't be too late. Like, you can say I'm being picky, but it's like that area that's not too soon and not too late, there's like a little buffer zone there. And that's where, you know what I'm saying, you should fall.
Like whenever Lawler was getting walked back to the cage with bows just connecting to his face, maybe you run up right there as soon as he hits his back on the fence and you literally wait for one more to land, boom, call it. He let him eat like 10 more on the fence line.
Yeah, and he was showing up. He wasn't really fighting back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lawler, I mean, he took a lot of damage. Barberena looked fantastic. And I really mean that. I'm not just saying because he won or because he got it finished. Like, that pace and volume.
Volume at welterweight?
Like, beats a lot of guys.
Yeah, that's Colby Covington style volume.
Literally. Maybe, like, more.
Maybe more.
Like,
but now, could he hold it for 3 rounds?
It was, I mean, he wasn't really slowing down.
Well, this was 4:47 in the second.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah, 4:47 in the
second.
second. So the under 2.5 was a little sweaty, but it was looking good. I was too in the moment to
Under
sweat
2 rounds was probably real sweaty.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet that.
Yeah, for sure. And like, so yeah, Barberena gets the win. But like I said, it's really not the fact that he gets one. This was fight of the night, so each guy got $50K. It's where he did it, main card of a pay-per-view, and how he looked against his opponent of Robbie Lawler. Like, he check box. And like, I'm not saying, especially in welterweight's a weird one because his like skills aren't on the like level of some of these other top welterweights.
Yeah, like I don't even know if I like him against like a Magny or something like that.
Is that what you do with Ian Gary?
Ooh, Ian Gary Barberena
Is sick.
That's a sick fight, and it makes Ian Gary have to like you're not gonna knock him out.
And that's a main card fight.
For sure. That's like he could fight in the same spot with him.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that.
I like it. I like it a lot. Cause
Yeah, Gabe Green, Robbie Lawler's fun as hell too.
Yeah, you know, I
mean,
want
Lawler needs to fight names.
Lawler's weird. I know he came in off the Nick Diaz win, and yeah, this is a loss, but it's just like, what is he fighting for at this point? It's pretty obvious it's a check. You know, he's no longer in contention. You know, the end of the road is near. Like, you know,
It's very near. And in fact, I think it might be one more fight.
I think maybe one more fight.
You like Tim Means? Robbie Lawler, Tim Means?
I don't hate it. That type of fight, right? Like, I don't want to see him be fed to a killer. Like Barbarina doesn't really qualify as a young lion in my opinion.
Not a young lion, but also not one of the champions, like the legends.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
fighters. Like
Or Neil Magny Lawler, like
Magny Lawler's. I'm fine with that.
I think that's fair to both guys.
Yeah.
Coming off losses.
Magny has a ranking still though.
I know, which is kind of like a
So
tip
you're
of the
saying
cap to Lawler. You know what I'm saying?
Barbarina shouldn't deserve that shot.
Sure, why not? I'm not mad at that either. I'm just saying, like, I think you can't just match Barbarina. No, maybe that's
too
too
Lawler
Lawler.
Rachmanov.
That's what I don't want to see. No, if you want to say Barbarina Rachmanov, sure. I'm cool with that.
Oh, wow, you're a savage.
No, I mean, that actually, I keep forgetting Rachmanov. Yeah.
He's 10.
I keep forgetting he's 10. I'm still in my head thinking 15.
No, he's 10.
He's 10, yeah.
Number 10 bullshit guy.
Number 10 bullshit guy. But, yeah, man, I guess we can keep it pushing, man, because this next fight, I mean, had all the hype, had all the divisional. I mean, it was a number one contenders match, which didn't make sense, but
I had 2 parlays riding on this one. Well, actually 4 in
yeah,
total.
because you had a hedge parlay.
Yeah.
We
actually right here on the podcast.
We liked Strickland, man. We were riding and dying with the sport of MMA. We thought Strickland was going to be better at MMA than Pereira, the kickboxing world champion. We thought that he'd be able to mix it up enough, make it a mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah.
And that just never happened. And we got Sean Strickland minus 125, the 4th ranked middleweight. I mean, a hilarious guy, crass guy. Not for everybody. I love the guy. Like, I literally, the press conference, like, on his Twitter.
He won
the press conference. He's a great Twitter follow when he's not banned. And, I mean, just a wild guy, a not PC guy. I mean, do I believe the same things that he believes? Not always, but I do like that those kind of people still exist in a world where everybody's trying to be censored and silenced. Like, he's not for everybody, but yeah, I like Sean Strickland.
Me too. Sean Strickland's funny. He is definitely not for everybody. So just, fair warning to you, fair play. If you hate him, that's probably just because you don't like the things he says.
It's probably a sign that you have good mental health if you don't like Sean Strickland.
Yeah,
he's
and
a
then
crazy
side
person.
of things where you're us and you love him
Oh,
for
yeah.
being crazy.
Yeah, no, I like that those kind of people still exist.
Man, all that being said, I mean, he is the 4th ranked fighter at middleweight. Like, he does have a skill set, and he is a main eventer, and he has beaten Hermanson, and he has beaten
Uriah Hall.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then coming in at minus 125, started as a plus 110. We liked Strickland at plus 110. He ended up, I think we got him at minus 130, and by the time the fight started, DraftKings had him at minus 125. So a lot of line movement there. And then he's fighting Alex Pereira, who is most known. He's a kickboxing champion, but not just any kickboxing champion. He's a guy who's knocked out Israel Adesanya in kickboxing.
And beaten him twice, knocked
him out once. Also, just insane physique. He's like, what, 6'5"?
Yes, I think 6'4", 6'5". Now, I will say, and to Izzy's point, when he defends himself against Pereira, and because this is to Sean Strickland's point, Strickland was calling out, like they asked him in a question, who's the best striker on the stage? And Strickland said, I think I'm probably the best, but if I'm not saying myself, which is already like you're crazy. But he's like, if I'm not saying myself, I'm going to have to say this guy, because this guy knocked out that guy.
Yeah, it was an awesome moment.
It was fucking sick. And then at one point, Izzy turns around and is like, but did you watch the fight? He's getting really mad. He starts getting real pissed, and then Strickland's, of course, like, Alex, go get this guy. I mean, he's fire on the mic. He's fire on the mic. But what I was getting at here is that Izzy tells him, did you watch the fight? Which is important, because in the first fight, when Izzy gets KO'd, he has Pereira dropped and rocked, and it's kickboxing, so you have to let him back up.
Yeah.
If that happens in MMA,
he probably finishes him off.
He's going to finish him right there.
Yeah. No, for sure. So there was so much on this fight. Like I said, Alex Pereira, unranked in a number one contenders match. How? Why? Because Izzy keeps saying his name. Izzy wants the fight. Izzy picks his own fights. Now, Izzy is what Charles Oliveira wants to be like. Izzy literally gets to pick his own fights.
This is his 6th attempted title defense.
Yeah. So
really 5th, but his interim belt, he had to defend that.
He defended his interim belt, yeah, but he'll die on that hill. But Pereira coming in at plus 105. So Like I said, I think Pereira started as the favorite because he's a dangerous, big, scary guy.
I did have a hedge with I had 2 Strickland straight. I had 1 Pereira under, so or like under 1.5 or under 1.5 and Pereira to win. That's a hedge.
That's a hedge, which it's smart to do. And yeah, I mean, this fight. Really, whenever I saw that Sean Strickland was just going to kickbox with him, man.
Oh, he got scary. He was like marching forward at him, too.
He was just marching forward. He was just standing. There wasn't any even feinted takedowns. Like, he literally didn't feint a takedown.
He didn't try to grapple once.
Like, he didn't even, fake like he was going to grapple. Like, he literally just kickboxed the world champion kickboxer. And I know ego's involved. And Sean Strickland is just really a crazy son bitch that really just isn't scared. Like, kudos. That's why we love him. But from a guy like that bet on him, it's wasn't his path to victory.
There's no fucking way that's his path to victory. Like, he had to go in and get close and make it like a clinch striking battle.
Yes.
Like, he literally needed to be in over-unders and trying to throw elbows off sliding from a grappling position, and then if he lands a takedown,
feigning takedowns,
right? Then if he lands the elbow, maybe shoot back into a double leg and try and get him down. You get Alex Pereira down, I think you have a good chance to win the fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or even if you get Alex Pereira worried about getting taken down.
Yeah, because then he can't just stand and wait on the strike.
Exactly.
And and Strickland literally had his legs in a boxing stance as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't even trying to check kicks. Was eating kicks.
Eating kicks. Like, Sean Strickland, I love the guy, really did nothing well in the fight.
I mean, he approached it with zero technique. You know what I mean? I think at this point, before this, he's been able to just, out-tough, he's almost like your tough, typical tough man that trains every day, right?
Oh, yeah. And he has great cardio. Fantastic cardio.
It's a mentality for him that allows him to be so successful.
You're right.
He won't take no for an answer until he does, though, right? And I think Alex Pereira told him no.
Told him no with the craziest left hook I've seen.
Single left hook.
That wasn't from a heavyweight or Francis.
Oh, dude, it spun Strickland's head at a 90 degree, and we just got to watch it rock back. His far ear was looked like blown up, the way it was flapping.
It was insane. The craziest left hook. Like I said, from the craziest left hook that I've seen from somebody that wasn't a heavyweight and wasn't named Derek Lewis or Francis Ngannou.
God, and then the extra shots to put him out.
Well, then, to Strickland's credit, he didn't go out cold. He started to get back up to his feet.
Yeah, ran over to the cage and essentially dropped to a knee and was coming back up, and then just ate
another right. I think that one was a right straight.
Right.
And just put him out cold.
And then to his defense, he is a literal psychotic madman because he then tried to get back up within a second and a half of being out.
Yeah, but he was out.
And then he started looking at the ref oh, why'd you stop it? And it's dude, you're done. And then the look in his eyes after the fight, I've seen that look.
Me too.
You've seen that look.
Yeah.
You play football. Concussions are common there. I've seen with Forrest Myers, Brad Davis, 2 dudes I can think of.
Shout out my boy Darryl. Yeah, you get this kind of blank stare, and it's an emotionless blank stare, you're just not all there. I mean, that's the easiest. Not everyone's home. You know what I mean? The lights.
Yeah, you're kind of you can't remember what just happened, so you're sitting there just thinking the last thing you remember is probably walking into the cage and being just in front of him, and then the next thing you know, you're literally standing there and you're what happened? That's a common thing is people always be so what happened? And they'll keep asking you what happened.
Yeah, no, and Sean Strickland said knocked out in very extreme fashion, very quick. Essentially, he got knocked out twice. You could argue he got knocked out twice.
Yeah.
Essentially, and then fight lasted 2 minutes and 36 seconds. So Harrison did hit his hedge on those legs of his hedge. He had one parlay that had under and Pereira. Which
hopefully that's a 6-legger with the Munoz O'Malley, and if that's a scratch, then there'll be a 4-legger with a +110, a +170, a -105, and a -350. That's still going to pay good.
That's going to pay good for sure. I really hope you get that. Yep. So Pereira, he gets the win. He calls for the Adesanya fight. It's looking like he's potentially going to get that, and. He made me look foolish. Now, did I know this was a possibility? Of course. But I really You know, like I said, I thought the MMA fighter was gonna beat the kickboxer. You know, and in the sport of MMA, I did, and now I was proven wrong. I'll own that. I eat it.
Well, because the MMA fighter chose to fight a kickboxing match.
You're right.
It makes no sense.
You're right, man.
I mean, nothing Sean Strickland does make sense, but that specifically makes sense.
And the size was an insane, like Sean Strickland used to make welter.
That was hilarious. And Sean Strickland was like, "Yeah, I'm just not fucking super tall. Like, I don't know, super long arms." Well, those super long arms and that height were literally the end of Sean.
Pereira could fight at like 205. He's like he's like Yuri Prohaska's size.
He's
like
massive.
He's insanely big. But yeah, I mean that's really all there is on that. Pereira, you know, won the #1 contenders match, looking like put himself in fantastic position as a unranked fighter to get a title shot. Which I guess they're gonna have to put him up at 5 or something. Like they're gonna have to, or take Strickland's 4, or else it'll just look stupid on the poster. But
I mean, I think you definitely put him at 4, and you probably should drop Strickland to like fucking 7.
I dropped him to 5.
I mean,
yeah, it wasn't competitive.
It wasn't competitive at all. It was first round. Let me see the length of time here.
236.
236 is correct.
Yeah.
So if you had bet under half a round, you lose.
You lose. But if you bet under 1.5 or under 2.5,
I did get the under
you
1.5.
hit.
That is true. Now, I mean, I guess that's going to take us into our co-main here. And yeah, for sure. If you'll grab me one, that'd be tight. Actually, no, I'm good. Actually, grab me some Howler.
All right.
I'm here for it. Shout out Howler Head Whiskey. Actually, no, I changed my mind again. Let me get a Happy Dad.
No,
God, I can't believe I just chose a Happy Dad. Steve, come on, bro. Jesus. Anyway, what I was going to say is for the UFC's parlay on this card, I guarantee you what the UFC wanted coming into this card was Pereira to get the exact finish we just described, right? Like that exact thing needed to happen. The next part of the parlay for the UFC is Izzy just to win. They got the hard part of their parlay. They just needed the Izzy win.
Yeah, the UFC 100% wanted Pereira to win, mainly because you can't have Sean Strickland as a champion. And like I said, the Izzy Pereira storyline is like you can't buy that with money. You can't that's something that happened organically.
Correct, and has a history outside of the sport where they were both champions beforehand. So just keep that in mind when we get to the main event. But right now we have the co-main event, which is going to be a featherweight Kings. Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski. Max Holloway plus 160 is the dog. Down 0-2 in the series. I have it 1-1. I have it 5 rounds to 5 rounds over the 10 rounds they fought. Champion Alexander Volkanovski at minus 190. D-Mac and I think the thing that we've been saying for probably a fucking week straight is there's no way they can fight another 25-minute fight.
Yeah.
Like some guy has to know how to turn the other guy's lights off by this point.
And they each of them had to make it decisive, which I guess doesn't always mean a finish, as we'll see, but kind of points to a finish. Because like if Volk wins another suspect or like a split decision, then this fight accomplished nothing. All the people that were rumbling before were still going to be rumbling before. And then Max, as a guy who's lost 2 suspects' decisions, you literally can't leave it in the hands of the judges. So like we both loved the under 4.5. Now that was a plus money bet, so Vegas disagreed with us. And you could take that same information and go the other way with it. Yeah, we got plus 200 on that. So
probably a minus 240 that it does go to decision. And Vegas' take on that is, well, they're so evenly matched, and Holloway's literally never been dropped, so how the fuck is he going to get KO'd when Poirier, with Poirier's welterweight power, couldn't put him out? That's an important point, I think.
Yeah.
Which I maybe should have taken more consideration to. But also thought Volkanovski would be able to rock him, wrestle him, take him down, finish him.
Yeah, my thing was just the fact that, like I said, I call it superstition, call it like bro science, like
probability, right?
Like it can't go another decision. Like I'll be real, like I don't have too many X's and O's. Like it's really just like it can't happen a decision again, right? Like because these fights look different, right?
Rematches. The mindset for both these guys are so close in both fights. It's like, are they not worried about a decision? Because like, if there's bad judging one way or the other on a singular round that you think you won and the judges give to that guy.
Yeah, I know. I thought each guy needed a finish. I thought each guy needed a finish here. Now we don't get a finish. Our under doesn't hit, and
Tough.
and
I also
also
needed Holloway to win on
Yeah.
an outside bet.
yeah, I didn't ride that one. Harrison had Holloway money line on one of his parlays, and we'll get to that whether or not that hits. But man, I mean, we really kind of don't have to go round by round.
I was gonna say that's super crazy and sad to say for this fight. Like,
I know.
Like, I guarantee anyone at home, if you go back and watch the first or second fight, we could never say that statement we just said. You'd have to go round by round and break them down so deep. What we saw last night was Volk be faster, him land the heavier shots, him have better defensive striking,
And
or
more
better defense,
volume than Max Holloway.
and more volume.
He out-volumed the volume guy.
It made us. He literally, and he was talking to the commentary while he was fighting in the first round.
Yeah.
It was scary.
He was flowing.
He was in a different level, and he leveled up, man. Like Max Holloway said it after the fight. He loses. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah.
50-45.
Yeah.
Doesn't win a round.
Not on our scorecards either.
No, I didn't give him a single round.
No, you couldn't.
No
You
10-8s.
couldn't.
No 10-8s. I could have gotten close in the fourth, I believe.
Yeah, and it was just like one of those weird things where like cumulative damage, you know what I mean? But it's
Started
not
to look,
really.
Yeah, all fucked
It
up.
started to
And,
get
dude,
really
and the
bad.
Cut over
The
his
cut.
left eye. I mean, you could fit a whole Q-tip inside of it.
It was
so deep.
It was so wide, so deep. Holloway got busted up on the feet too. No takedown attempts from Volk. This was essentially
This
a
was all
boxing
feet.
match.
And Volk
Neither
looked-
guy was really kicking
You see
either.
Volk after the fight, like he didn't even look that beat up.
And Holloway was destroyed.
Yeah. Now Volk did tell another story as well that I wasn't aware of. Is before their last fight, and here's some UFC USADA conspiracies coming to work again, right? Conor McGregor has been tested in 20 months. What do you think? They came and woke Volkanovski up at 3 a.m. the Friday night and made him do a blood and piss test. Like he weighed in Friday morning, went to sleep Friday night to fight Saturday. They came to his hotel room.
That's fucked up.
In sleep cycle. Like you're gonna wake him up middle of his night of sleep before he fights.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked.
That's a disadvantage.
And that makes you wonder, well, why did Holloway look the best he looked in fight 2 out of 3? Out of the 3. You know, it makes me think. And Volkanovski said that in his press conference. He was like, yeah, I wonder why I won all 5 rounds, and I had a great night of sleep last night. He was like, I figured out his game plan. I knew his game plan the whole time. I just wasn't fast enough that night. I wasn't myself. And like his speed last night.
Oh, you're saying that was the second fight they did that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying before the second fight. So Volk was saying like to get a full night of sleep before this fight, he was like, I knew I was gonna win.
Yeah, no. Volk put on a master class. Like literally, he essentially did to Holloway what he did to the Korean Zombie. Like seriously.
Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't as bad, but I mean that's just the level of Holloway versus Korean Zombie. Like Holloway, we used to say this was a 1A, 1B. It's not anymore.
It's not.
Holloway's 2. Everyone else is 3.
When
and
hell, Ortega, if he beats Zaire, has an argument for 2 now because
said
that
this
fight
last
was
night,
way
didn't
closer.
we? Didn't we?
That fight was way
Because,
closer.
yeah, I looked at you, I think, after round 4, and I go, man, you were talking about the Ortega-Volk fight, and I was like, Ortega's way closer to finishing Volk than any other man in this division's ever been. Like,
Also,
I'm going to go with, like, closeness to a finish as, like, best matchup, because that kind of is what it has to be, right? Or if you can win the decision, then that matters.
Ortega's gotten closer to beating Volkanovski than, I mean, I guess everybody not named Max Holloway.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now that Holloway's out 0-3, it's like, well, that's, you just literally can't do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That chapter has closed. Yeah, like, this fight wasn't that, like, fun, but it also wasn't a snoozer. Like, it just wasn't that competitive. Like, it was all Volk.
I agree. Didn't need to go round by round with it necessarily.
Also, a great example of how speed can be range. Like, speed can be reach.
Oh, dude, he was in and out so fast and would slide the counter shots so well. I mean, Volk was just masterclass.
Masterclass. Hitting, not getting hit. I mean, the art of the game, right?
It was insane. And, like, Cormier, I believe, was the one that said it, where he was like, man, Volkanovski looks fast tonight. Volkanovski's literally in the middle of dodging a combo. He looks over and goes, I'm just too fast for him tonight.
That was sick. He was, well, Holloway, remember when Holloway was stunting on Cater? That's what
Literal
Volk
Volk did to
Holloway.
Did to fucking Holloway. Like, it was insane that he did that to Holloway. Like, I literally took that in that moment. Was like, wow, he just did to him
shit.
what he did to
That's some
someone
karma
else.
shit. Like,
Well,
stay humble. Like,
what happens?
What if it happens to Volk?
What happens to Cater if he? That's MMA math. What happens to Cater if he fights?
Oh, that's bad. That's real bad.
That's real bad.
I think Volkanovski's far above this division. I think he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. I think he's better than Usman as far as pound-for-pound goes. And
You're
he
right.
said,
You're right. His fights are less competitive.
and he wants to go fight Charlie Olives. So as much as you were saying Islam's next, I think Volkanovski Olives is next. And if it's not, then Volkanovski gets to go fight for it against Islam.
Yeah.
Volk Islam for the belt at 155, vacant belt. If Olives goes to McGregor.
That's fun.
That's fun.
Weird, but it's fun.
Weird but fun, and why couldn't it happen? There is no champion. You don't have.
That's the part of this
guy,
that people need to like factor in whenever they're doing their matchmaking, right? Like,
yeah, if the #1 guy doesn't want the belt, well, who's the next guy up that deserves it in that division? It's Makhachev,
Yes.
right? And so at that point, it's like, well, Volkanovski's asking to come challenge for it, and the #1 guy doesn't want to fight the #2 guy.
That fight is
Bring him
sick. I mean, that is a huge size discrepancy.
but what does Volk look like at 55? Because he can blow up. Like, he's a naturally big
Well, wrestling
guy.
Volk is tough because like he is such a stocky base.
And he's way faster than Islam.
oh
Way faster. And probably has. I don't
That's
know.
an interesting fight.
He has. It's hard to say because Islam's cardio. He has that wrestling grind cardio. But if he's like I don't think Islam has like the cardio, like quickness cardio, like the different types of cardio, right?
Yeah, and can he even get his hands really on Volk the right way? Like I think Volk's like explosive from the hips with like a stocky base.
And
Like that's one of the hardest guys to keep down is someone that has like explosive base with like strong hips. Those are the guys in wrestling you can't keep down.
all right, not even asking a winner, but just let's do two. Let's do some handicapping real quick.
All right.
What's the money if you're Harrison Sportsbook, Beefy Boy Sportsbook? What does the money line for Volk Islam look like? And then we'll do Volk Charlie Olives.
Okay, so I think Volk Islam is. Are you asking me what I think Vegas sets it at? Or
You
what
can
I would
answer
say?
either way, but just qualify it. Or you can do both.
I think Vegas probably goes minus 260 Islam. I think they're just Islam dick riders.
Okay.
What do I think it should be? Volk minus 160.
Ooh. See, I fall somewhere in the middle. I'd probably go like Islam minus 125 or something like that.
Okay.
Because like just the size, factoring in the size,
See,
factoring
I
in.
think the size I don't care about because Holloway's a big featherweight.
Oh,
he's just not.
but
He's just not. I mean, it's 10 more
he's
pounds.
skinny as fuck.
Okay, but like,
Islam is strong.
Volk used to weigh 214
Oh, I know. I'm not talking
pounds.
about Volk. I'm talking about the guys that Volk's been fighting.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think size against him is not a weapon you can count on because he's a rugby dude. Like
I feel you, and he used to be really big. I get all that. I think Islam's also good. I mean, I feel you. He just proved that height doesn't really matter, reach doesn't really matter. So,
yeah, height and reach are out, and striking is definitely out for Islam.
and it really is the question. I mean, the $1 million question: if Islam gets on top, can Volk get up? You say yes.
I think he can.
I'm a little more. You know what I'm saying? I have my questions. I think that's where I'm talking about the size. You know what I mean? It's not even like a technique question, but just like that. Like Blachowicz Adesanya.
I will also say.
Blachowicz Adesanya. Think that's kind of my concern there. Just the size.
Okay, wait. I'm too drunk, I think, maybe, because that tastes like a lemon lime Gatorade that actually tastes good now.
Oh, let's go. Happy Dads hit a point where you have to be like certain.
Wow, you just get dadded down, and then they just taste like Gatorades.
Nice.
I'm sorry. That was just like that shocked me. But I think.
Well, this doesn't taste like fucking shit. What?
Saying.
What?
Said what? Stone Cold ET wants 2 cheeseburgers.
What?
But yeah, man, I think that Volkanovski should be the favorite in that fight. I think people need to start respecting him. I think he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. And that's why I give him that distinction.
Ooh, that's a good point. I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my neck.
I was going to say, you think he's #1 pound-for-pound?
kind of
If
talking.
you do, why wouldn't he be able to come up and do it? It's only 10 pounds, and he's been
But
70,
that's the thing, though.
but
It's
he's weighed
not
se-
10 pounds.
but
Though.
he's
Like Islam will
weighed-
be in the cage at like 190.
Yeah, but Volk is weighed... No, he won't get up to 190. He'll be like 175.
Okay.
Yeah, but Volk could get up to 165.
Okay, so it's still 10 pounds.
I think at 165, 175, I think those guys can fight each other, and it's not too big of a deal.
I think them standing next
Especially
to each
with
other
the-
is going to look...
But the muscle design is so different, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Volk is not getting any weight.
Well,
from his
Islam has
height.
pecs. Islam doesn't have that Nate Diaz chest. Like, Islam's a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
No, I know. Yeah, he's a little stacked. Like he actually has a really skinny waist.
Yeah.
Islam does. Like
And
he has
like
a
kinda
lot of
wide
like,
shoulders.
dude. His shoulders are fat.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like, he has
saying.
a
And his back. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, that's all
Yeah,
Dagestan.
yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying,
Hey,
dude. That's what
hey,
I'm saying.
I don't know if you've heard it. Chest is for show, back is for go. And those
Back is-
motherfuckers are going to the top.
Yeah, man. All right. Now let's spend just a little bit of time on that same exact question for Charlie Olives.
Perfect. I actually think that fight is like a Charlie Olives. What does Vegas say?
Yeah.
I think Oliveira minus 135, Volk plus 115.
Yeah, because size doesn't seem because Oliveira, former 45er, right?
Oliveira to me is a lot like Holloway, but bigger with better jiu-jitsu. And we'll pull the guard. Like, we'll drop. and
That's
pull the
what
guard.
I'm interested to see. Because he's already passed the Ortega test, right? So that I kind of
Fucking barely.
barely, but what I'm
Barely.
saying is if that kind of makes him jiu-jitsu proof in my eyes. Now, no,
Volk, by his own admission, said that's the closest he's ever been to losing his belt and was literally blacking out as his head slipped out.
yeah, but I'm saying like if that didn't do it, like I'm saying if Ortega's about as high level jiu-jitsu as it gets, like in the whole promotion.
But Oliveira's MMA jiu-jitsu is so like.
Okay, so
I think they're the same. I put Charlie Olives on the same level as Ryan Ortega.
Me too,
jiu-jitsu.
but
Charlie or Oliveira is bigger,
bigger, yes.
and I think he's down to strike and like. He can strike too. Like he can strike.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Yeah,
Ortega can't strike the same as Olives.
exactly. No, exactly. And he throws elbows. Max wasn't throwing
yeah.
no elbows. Like, you know, no.
Oliveira is a complex
Like-
fighter, man.
like
I
if-
really like him at 55.
Me too.
Like he's gonna torch Conor McGregor if they fight.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll put my fucking house on all.
Me too. Me too. Because the money lines we're gonna get good value because of
People are
McGregor's
gonna
name.
and take it late, not early, because people are gonna bet McGregor just
Yep.
to bet McGregor.
Yes. Yeah.
Take it late.
I love it.
You heard it first.
Yes, sir. Futures bets. Futures. Hammer
That's
the
a real
futures.
big futures.
But seriously, so you said what? Olives? You said minus 125. Minus what was that?
Oh, I said minus 135 Charles Oliveira and plus 115 Volkanovski is exactly how I have that slated.
So, but you're right. It does seem closer than the Islam one, because the Islam one, we have never really seen still anybody beat that style.
Well, see, I actually disagree. I actually have Volkanovski being a bigger favorite over Islam. He's an underdog in the Charlie Olives fight, in my opinion.
Oh, but you're saying Vegas, but Vegas.
Yeah, I
doesn't-
think
that's
Vegas.
how-
Yeah, right. Now I'm saying Vegas agrees with me on my line. That's why I gave the singular line for the Oliveira fight. I think people are just so in love with Islam and Khabib being his coach. Like your coach doesn't make you unbeatable,
No, but that style kind of has.
but him
been
being your
unbeatable.
brother and your training partner might.
Well, and like I said, it's just the style. Like it hasn't really been proven wrong yet.
I mean, yes and no, right?
Like at the highest levels,
At
like
the very highest level, you can
Nobody's-
beat it. You can beat it at the very highest level.
I'm saying, that's what it hasn't been beat. Nobody beat Khabib, and nobody's beat Islam.
What about Meave? Meave's getting dog walked.
Yeah,
up.
but that's what I'm saying. Not at the highest level. Like he's not that good at it. I'm saying
That's
not.
fair. I mean, I guess Shavkat and okay, look at Shimaev. He couldn't just he couldn't do what he wanted to against.
But
Gilbert
Shimaev
Burns.
likes to stand and throw way more than Islam does. Islam's much more like Khabib. Like he literally wants it on the ground. Shimaev will stand. I mean, we saw it. He kind of has fun.
He's a fucking
Yeah. So I
solid.
don't even consider Shimaev that style. And he trains out of Sweden. He doesn't have Shimaev literally doesn't have the Dagestani style. It's the Dagestani beard, but not the Dagestani style.
I guess even at Ankalaev's size, that's still not been proven to be no one stopped Ankalaev.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like nobody's really stopped it.
That's a fair argument. It's a fair argument.
Yeah, I think that's a better argument than the size argument, to be honest.
I also don't think they give him the most dangerous jiu-jitsu players, though, typically.
I mean, Moises is about as dangerous. I mean, that's good jiu-jitsu, dude. That's good
I mean,
jiu-jitsu.
compared to Charles Oliveira, though.
No, but I don't think anybody compares to Charles Oliveira.
Moises also didn't get just like walk. It was a 4th round finish.
Yeah.
Like it was a good fight. Like wasn't like it was the easiest for Makhachev. That's kind of what I'm saying is like, if you're gonna go 4 rounds with Moises, you probably need to go all 5 with Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, so
Or you're gonna get finished.
And I'm one of the few people that really want to see Oliveira Islam. Everybody's acting like, oh, nobody
I
wants
wanna
to
see
see
that
that.
so
Like
bad.
I think Oliveira Islam, from an X's and O's standpoint, is even more fun than Oliveira Volk. Now Oliveira Volk has obviously better name cachet. It's more fun. It's I mean, there's the double champ shit. Like, yeah, I get it.
Well, the Oliveira thing
But
is like he's the dark horse of the division. Like he's the name you don't want to have as your champion if you're the UFC.
But
But he is your champion.
In a vacuum, Islam, Charlie Olives, the X's and O's. Like,
That's the fight I want, man.
I know, but if you hop on Twitter, nobody wants to see that fight. Like me, I do. Here.
I got that fight as Oliveira like plus 125, Islam like minus 155.
No, but that's not, dude. The line's out. Islam's like a minus 300 something favorite.
See, that's so. I'll take.
Oh,
give
I'm
me that.
hammering the olives.
Give me the olives.
Hammer
plus
the
240
olives.
money. Like that's
Hammer
crazy.
it.
That's crazy.
Hammer it.
That's crazy.
Hammer it. I
That's
agree, and hammer
crazy.
the under too because he gets finishes.
Oh yeah.
If you like Islam, then
Or he's
hammer
gonna
the
get,
over.
or he's gonna get finished.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, the fact that we just did like 12 minutes on hypothetical shit proves how much we don't want to talk about this main event.
Man, it was dog shit.
Dog
I mean, I
shit.
think you have a very hot take here.
I do. I'm coming scorched earth, which is going to be the only fun thing about this, so you're welcome, viewers. Fucking, because otherwise, you might as well pull out your pillow and your blankie, because this was a fucking snooze fest.
I can't wait to hear this take from you because I actually scored this the same as 2 of these judges, and I thought one judge was literally off his fucking rocker.
One joke. Now, that's what we're going to agree on.
That was Sal Diamato.
Sal Diamato fucked up.
Did he though?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he did, but like,
Yeah.
but like, he's the one that agreed with us earlier on the O'Malley. He's the only one that scored for O'Malley.
Doesn't matter. I mean, each fight is like a different animal, has a life of its own. You know what I mean? So it's like.
I mean, yes.
You agreed with Adelaide Bird earlier, so that just killed your argument.
Fuck you.
Fuck
All
off.
right.
All right.
Fuck you.
All right, so unless you've been living under a rock for the past fucking 3 weeks, we got Israel Adesanya minus 500, obviously the current champion, just literally trying to scratch and claw for any name he hasn't already beaten twice at this point, right?
Yes, exactly right.
Really, the only reason this fight was made.
No, that's not to say Cannonier didn't beat some really tough guys.
He campaigned for himself very well as well.
No, I agree. But at the same time, it's not like the UFC was like itching to get Cannonier a title shot. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to do it the hard way, and he was literally a fresh body.
You know what though? I'm gonna give you the this fight was closer than I'm giving it hindsight. Now in hindsight, this fight was closer than I felt like it was in the moment.
Okay, cool. So we got Israel Adesanya minus 500, Cannonier plus 400, and number 2 ranked contender, middleweight championship. First off, Izzy's Undertaker walkout. Regardless of the not so kind things I'm going to say about what takes place in the following 25 minutes, the Undertaker walkout. Fucking sick. The gimmick worked. It landed. The crowd ate it up. The internet's eating it up. The Undertaker himself actually really liked it and shouted him out.
Having the urn with the name Jared on the front was tight.
It was sick. I loved everything about
He
it.
played it really well, and Vince McMahon and Triple H were in the crowd. Did you know that?
That's
They
sick.
were at the UFC event.
That's sick. Well, and it's like, if you want to know, like, what, hey, Volk, how are you debatably the GOAT, but you're a co-main event? You can't headline a pay-per-view. Izzy does shit like this, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the extra. Like, that's...
It's literally, Chael says it, right? Like, you're going to be entertained before the fight. Not so much in the fight now. You say in the fight.
You're right,
You say
you're
in the
right, you're
fight.
right.
And we'll get to our betting takes as to why I say that right here. And after the fight, you will still be entertained. Like, he is always good on the mic, in the walkout, in a public spotlight, any setting.
The only other guy doing it like Izzy is Tommy Fury. I mean, not Tommy Fury. God damn it.
Jake Paul.
No. What's the good Fury? Tyson Fury. Jesus Christ, Will Fleury over here. But backing out of Jake Paul fights. But
Yeah, fuck.
all right, we gotta go round by round.
Blurry.
Will Fleury. I don't know who Tommy Fury is,
Oh
but
my god.
clearly his name's Will Fleury. But anyway, like I said, we're just doing anything but talking about this fight. Because at the end of the day, so yeah, I have some hot takes. I have an interesting scorecard. But it all stems from this fight being whack as fuck. Me and Harrison, we say it all the time. The hardest fights to score are the boring, snoozer, non-action packed fights. It's not the wars.
Oh, I just want to say one last thing. If that last fight had been a finish, I would have won $800 on a $5 bet. That was the only thing I missed, by the way.
Yeah, under 4.5. Yeah, he was one leg away from an $800
I had one more,
cash.
so when that missed, I was then at that point 6 for 7, and I had a bet on this fight, and I won't tell you what it is until we get through it. That way I don't ruin anything.
Well, I think we can, the over-under bet, I think we can give away with that. It doesn't really ruin anything, right?
Oh, yeah, fair.
Especially considering we're saying it's a snoozer.
Fair, I had this going the distance.
And that was a sell job by me.
I was just about to say, I didn't love that. I actually hated that pick. I hated that pick.
It took like
I hated that pick when I made that pick.
I've been convincing him since his flight landed down. It was like a 3-day fucking sales job.
Gross. It's the same as me and you with the Uriah Hall over though. The Hall Muniz 1.5 over.
Yeah.
It's the same thing where I was like, Muniz.
You're right. You're right. You sold me on Uriah Hall's defense.
Yeah.
But I love the over. Why? Because Izzy has been in snoozy decisions for the past.
That's all he does. He's a
ever
snooze
since
master.
Costa. Ever since Costa.
And Costa's not even. He's not a middleweight. So.
True. Definitely not a middleweight. I don't know how that fight.
We're gonna ride that.
Izzy's had 2 light heavyweight title shots. Like
it's hilarious.
He's fought 2 light heavyweights.
Yeah, Blachowicz and Costa.
Yeah, Blachowicz and Costa. But they're like the same size guy. But
I actually would love that fight at 205.
That would be sick. That's what I'm saying. There's so many dope fights for Costa at 205.
He's way better built for 205.
There's so many. I mean,
and like he might be fast enough to fight.
I want to see Costa knock the shit out of Rockets. Like I think I think he could do great things there. Like as much as I'm hating on him.
Gregory Rodriguez and Costa.
Well, I think Rodriguez is the juiciest middleweight ever. He's a middleweight.
I'm saying, make him fight at 85.
The battle for the golden syringe trophy. God damn it.
The battle to never have a USADA jacket.
yeah, right. We all know things that we won't see. Things we won't see for 400. Like in Rodriguez and a USADA jacket. But
yeah, I mean, Izzy's a champion. What, Canada's ranked 4?
2.
2?
And also Canada's 38 years old. I didn't realize he was that old.
Get this guy the fuck out of here. Canada's so whack, man. Like, his whole shit with crystals and, like, channeling his whole fucking, the celestial power of the stars to fight and, like, him being, like, not a human. Like, he's just a vessel for their energy.
I know. I think it's worse than his real story. Like, that's the annoying part about it.
That's
he has a dope story.
He has a dope story.
Be that.
And he,
be the trucker from Alaska that whoops ass in 3 weight classes. Like, that's way sicker. That's like a Shemaev-esque, like, story.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it's way cooler than, oh, I'm some fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying? With a bad haircut, and sometimes I have braids and sometimes I don't. Like, he's like the worst.
Dude,
like,
and his shit talk, like, in stage situations.
So cringe. And not even cringe in a fun, like, Cejudo way. Like, just bad. Like, no, yeah.
Which I think there's some after fallout we can get through, or we'll get to, because I think there's some fallout that we haven't talked about, like Cejudo O'Malley's stuff, because that was awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm
down. I think we need to talk about it, but we gotta go through this first. We gotta go around.
Yeah, let's go around.
Adesanya's minus 500. Canada's plus 400. This line was up and down and up and down.
Yeah, no, it swayed all the way from, I think, minus 300 all the way up to minus 600 and then fell
back down to minus 500.
Yeah, this line was, and I'm talking about, we were at the sports book the morning, like 11 a.m. the morning of the fights, and Izzy was minus 600. So it moved a lot. And then a couple of days before, he was like minus 350. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, when my plane landed, it was minus 350 or minus 450 plus 360.
Yeah, so
this line
climbed
all the way to minus 600 when we were in the casino, and then came back down to minus 500.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What did I get him? I took him to win on one of these tickets. I got him at minus 500.
Okay, yeah. So
that was we saw him at 600, or we saw him at 575 at Caesars.
Yeah, William Hill.
Yeah,
and then we went to a different casino. So all right, man. So let's go round by round because it's gonna be important for me. I guess nobody else thought this fight was competitive or close or hard to score. And that's also a caveat with my hot take that makes it a little more take. Like these rounds that I score how I score them, I fucking struggled to score them.
Okay, I think 1 and 2 are easy to score.
Yes,
5 is easy to score.
See, I think 1 and 2 are the only ones easy to score. And to that credit, so we can just
I'll
match
actually
those
say
together.
3's easy to score too, but I think you'll see.
Well, let's go. Let's go. We got round 1. Clearly 10-9 Izzy. I mean, it was decently competitive, but in kind of a snoozy way. Neither guy beat the shit out of the other guy.
There's
That's
a lot
for
of
sure.
feeling out, which is like Izzy wins those rounds.
Yes,
because he's longer. He's smarter with his strike placement and choice. Doesn't overcommit.
Which
ever.
allows Izzy to win snoozy fights because he gets away with that. Like if the fight's snoozy,
your
Izzy's
pattern. He's learning your pattern.
I'm so goddamn tired of hearing people talking about Izzy downloading. Jesus fucking Christ. Is he a fucking USB port?
I said learning.
Is he fucking USB port fucking downloading and just snoozing? That's what he's doing. Fucking that overnight download while you sleep. Jesus. I mean,
he's the software update that comes late at night.
Late at night. Yeah, literally, dude. That's fuck this.
You wake up to a
download
result
talk.
and you're just like, man.
I'm so tired of the down. But I don't like it. I've never liked it for any fighter. That's literally what people say about snoozy fighters. Like, oh, he's downloading. Like, all right, or he's just not throwing.
Yeah, or he's just not risking it. Because we did watch, for those of you at home, we watched the Gastelum Adesanya title defense. One of the greatest fights.
Yeah, it like
And
makes
is he
you're watching
going
a
for it?
different guy.
Yeah, he's changed.
It's a different
I think he's
guy.
changed from that fight.
The satin sheets or
Like,
whatever
that fight
it is.
changed him.
Like that's back before he's painting his nails and shit.
Like he finished Whitaker the second time. Did he finish Whitaker the second time?
No.
He did not.
No.
His only
Actually, I
finish-
gave it to Whitaker.
Yeah, right. Because it was a snooze
3
more
rounds.
battle.
Yeah.
And like, so point being, his only finishes cost us since that Gastelum war.
Yeah,
And
and
then
the
Costa,
Vittori fights suck too. 2 of them.
and Costa was the only guy that actually talked real shit, and like I think actually got Izzy angry enough where he fought emotionally.
Yeah.
I really think that.
Well, no,
when
no.
he fights emotionally, it's way more fun.
It's way more fun for us for
Which
sure.
means to win this fight,
Well, Vittori tried it. It didn't work. The Vittori fight was awful.
Vittori's a moron.
I was like trying. I rewatched the Vittori fight a few weeks ago, trying to get myself excited for this fight, and that's what gave me my overtake, bro. I was like, no, this just is what he does now. The Vittori 2 fight, I watched it the other day, and it's so snoozy, and it's just like, this is what he does now. Like, this is just who he is now. So yeah, round 1, 10-9 Izzy. I mean, volume. I guess if you want to say the significant strikes numbers, I'll argue there was no significant strikes landed by either man. But the significant strikes numbers point to Izzy. I mean, it was
I
whatever.
don't have to point to Izzy every round, but 2 rounds are very close, and I think when Cannonier connected on every strike, I think this can be said to be true. He's connecting harder strikes.
Yeah, he was,
he connected
man.
less, but I think he connected harder.
Yeah, I agree, and that factors in.
I think it does, and I think it lends itself to the argument that we're about to have.
And then round 2, said not really controversial. I think pretty much everybody's still in lockstep. 10-9 Izzy. Izzy won the first 2 rounds, but he won them in, I said, unconvincing, just whack, like in snoozy ways. Like I'm at the risk of being redundant. I don't want to spend too much time on round 2 because just copy and paste what I said about round 1. I mean, outpointed him, kinda. Nothing really too hard, nothing really too flashy, nothing. I mean, definitely never hurt Cannonier. Just was throwing little shit out there, and this is the one kind of point that I guess I'll agree with Izzy with tentatively is like Jared Cannonier wasn't really like bringing the action either. You know what I'm saying?
See,
like
that's my problem here with trying to even score this fight to Cannonier in a general sense is like, what did he ever do to really press and make it happen?
the sense of urgency. But I also think there's a fine line between that, what you're saying, and the whole you gotta beat the champ to like. The concept that comes from boxing's corrupt ass about how you have to knock out the champ or else you're not going to get the decision. Like the benefit of the doubt factor for the champ. Like I think there's a fine line between what you're saying, like Cannonier has to really go for it. Like if Izzy's not going for it and Cannonier's not going for it, you can't like tip the scales to Izzy's not going for it. You know what I'm saying? Like that gets like on some boxing Floyd Mayweather shit.
That's fair.
Which I hate. Like, that's literally why I stopped watching boxing.
I mean,
it's a fine line. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I'm saying you see how that thinking kind of, you inch closer to that kind of shit happening.
I mean, I definitely get it. How'd you score the second round?
Second round, 10-9 Izzy.
Okay, so we both agree 20.
I actually, and I do, to Izzy's credit, once again, like,
sorry about that. To Izzy's credit, I know I'm not saying the most flattering things about Izzy right now. To his credit, I thought he looked better in round 2 than round 1. He let it go a little bit more. It was slightly less snoozy, but slightly less snoozy. Like,
Right,
let it
okay.
go a little bit more, not let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. I agree with you there.
and there was the eye poke to Cannonier, which thank God he didn't prelim Pedro, and we got to at least finish this fight.
And that was a way worse eye poke. So Pedro Munoz can suck my dick. How do you get your cornea scratched from having your eye closed and something pressing on the top?
And it almost
how?
looked like O'Malley's like
How, bro?
fingertip,
Look.
not his nail, hit
Like,
it. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was not his nail. Like, it was not his fingernail. It was not.
His eyes fucked up,
You can
though.
see the top of his fingernail.
you can't.
Dude, fuck Pedro Munoz. His eye got fucked up from
Pedro
getting punched.
Sterling?
He got fucked up from getting punched in the eye.
Pedro Sterling?
Bro, Pedro fucking Sterling. Like,
All right.
I'm sorry. Sean O'Malley controlled that fight and would have finished him if he had.
I agree. I agree with that.
If he had
I
taken it
disagree
away
with the eye take, even though I'm having some fun here, but I do agree with the overarching O'Malley was going to win that fight point.
Man.
All right, so third round. This is where
That's where it gets interesting.
this is where it gets interesting.
I think we agree on this round too.
We agree on this round, but we even did, like, you have this round clearly Cannonier. Like,
Oh, I loved what Canada was doing this round.
see, I struggled to score this round. Like, I literally, after the round ended and it was like on commercial break, I was literally sitting here like thinking about what I just saw. Now, I end up agreeing with you. I fall on the side of Cannonier. So round 3 was the first time where Cannonier was able to get his hands on Izzy. He was able to clinch him up. I guess if you want to call it shooting a takedown attempt, not really. He kind of went on the legs.
He's over 4 on takedown attempts, but does have 4 minutes of control in the fight.
Exactly, which is, like, the failed to takedown attempts were leading to clinch scenarios, which is the worst kind of clinch. Like, I respect
Yeah,
when
sure,
fighters
yeah.
go for a clinch and they have a body lock or a Muay Thai clinch. Like, I think that's dope. Like, I don't hate the clinch, but whenever a failed takedown kind of results in a clinch, and I'm kind of talking out both sides of my neck because I scored this round of Cannonier for exactly what I'm saying I don't like.
That's what we like to hear, baby.
But like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the failed takedown attempts turning into clinch is just whack. That's the snooziest thing of all time.
I mean, I
Like,
scored
people
it.
think lay and pray is snooze. I'll argue that, like, failed takedown clinches are like the definition of snooze.
I agree with that. I think it's a useful strategy to get into a snoozy clinch where you know you can win a fight. So from an X's and O's when fighting for a belt, I'm doing that from Cannonier every fucking round in this fight, which I
Yeah.
thought was his mistake. Because he's a big, strong guy.
Also,
Why wouldn't he be able to hold Izzy against him?
he did throw a couple strikes. I know I'm saying snooze. And
No, he landed 2 or 3 big ones.
big ones. Like, the hardest
Big ones.
fights.
Hardest strikes of the fight.
to
The
that
whole
point,
fight.
yes.
I even think the whole fight.
Oh, yeah, you might be
I
right
think
there.
The biggest strikes landed in the 3rd round by
By
Cannonier.
Cannonier. I think there's something on that.
I'm 10-9 Cannonier there.
All right, cool.
We're 29-28.
We're in
Izzy.
lockstep.
Right. In a 3-round fight, Izzy defends his belt, but that's not how belts are won or fought for. So we have 2 more rounds, right? So 4th round. I think this round's murky as shit, too.
Yes, definitely gets murky.
This is a round where I literally said to you after this round, too, I remember saying this. I had it 2-2 after this round. I gave this one to Cannonier.
I did too.
But my problem was, and what did I say to you? One of these judges is going to give this one to Izzy because it's so close. They're going to
And
go
he's the
with
champ. That
They're
boxing
going to
shit.
go with that. He's the champ, so he gets to get this round.
I get you, the 50-50.
Yeah.
It's a weighted quarter for the champ.
And I disagree with that because I thought, in a damage perspective, Cannonier did more damage in the 4th.
Cannonier, once again,
His volume once again was lower.
yes, quality versus quantity.
Absolutely.
Was it so? But see, this is where it gets tough. Even though I'm agreeing with you,
I think that's where we're going to disagree in the 5th too, potentially.
and this is where I may even be disagreeing with my fucking self. It's just like to argue damage in a snoozy clinch fight. It's a tough sell. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this guy got the damage off, but Izzy's the one throwing more strikes. And Jared Cannonier's doing snoozy clinch, positions. Still landed the harder shots. And like, it's also like, if one of those shots like busts Izzy open or like actually
Right.
does some
If
damage,
it
because
cuts
we're
it,
using
if
the
it
word
drops
damage
it.
kind of fast and loose. Like, he landed hard. Izzy ate it phenomenally.
Well, Izzy's got a really good chin.
Yeah, people
seem
don't
to
talk
forget
about
that.
it.
People
You're
seem
right.
to very much forget that. Like, that fool can get punched.
You're right. Izzy has a great chin. So we saw it the same way. 4th round, 3rd and 4th round of Cannonier.
48 going into this, or 40, or what am I saying? I'm sorry. 38-38. 38-38 going into the 5th. Like, I thought the winner of the 5th won the fight.
Well, and this is where we all lose, right? World championship on the line. Regardless of how you feel, we know it's not a landslide. Like, going into the 5th round,
Each guy should be going for a finish.
Caveat, yes, agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed
That's what
with
makes
that.
this round so disappointing.
Caveat.
Because this ends up being like the snooziest round of the fight
I just
with
wanna-
everything on the line.
I just want to tell people at home, but it is on the line? Because this is the problem, right? For people at home, the judges have this fight so far scored 39-36, 39-36, 40, or I'm sorry, 39-37, 39-37, 39-37, or what am I saying? 40-36. There was a 40-36 after 4 of these rounds. Me and Dominic scored 2 of those rounds for a guy. This one judge couldn't give either of those rounds.
Yeah, the people that gave him either or, I'm not even mad at. I'm not even dying on any hills.
Well, so 2 judges gave him the third. No judge gave him the fourth. But I think the fourth, there's a great argument.
No
for.
judge gave him the fourth. Wow.
Sad.
Wow.
And Saul D'Amato gave Izzy the third. Saul D'Amato was clearly a volume junkie. He just wanted to see punches be thrown.
That's weird shit, man. And like I said, how much do you value the clinch? You know, it's debatable, and it's not a fun thing to score, but it was.
Well, how'd you see round 5?
Yeah,
It's
man.
we have people on the precipice. Like, I know from what we just said that if the over hit and I just read the scores, like, now everyone gets the idea. Izzy wins this fight.
Well, honestly, this is where I think me and you disagree with a little bit. I thought round 5 looked an awful lot like round 4.
I thought it did, but Izzy had increased volume, and I thought the extra volume he landed was just enough to go over the
offset
damage line. Yeah, right. Where like their damage is probably equal, and he did more, so I gave it to him. I thought Cannonier didn't do enough.
I saw the same
and
thing.
I don't mean it like the boxing argument. I mean like in the sense of like any fight, if it's 2-2, I don't think Cannonier like was actively doing enough.
See, you said yourself, you used the word the damage was pretty equal.
It was pretty,
So the damage was equal, and Cannonier had some clinch control time.
but Izzy landed way more strikes.
Yeah,
and controlled the octagon a lot more too. If you're going to go about.
and maybe I should have gone in more tertiary on that third one. So this, like I said, I kind of been beating on the bush about my hot take. I gave Jared Cannonier the 5th round. I said, am I dying on the hill? No, not as much as I was against Whitaker. Like, I legit think Whitaker won the second fight. Like, I'll die on that hill. Like,
It was so funny last night when I heard you say it at the bar, like from like we were separated, like afar, and I showed him go talking to someone about it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I don't necessarily have any. Izzy winning that fight?" And I turned around, I was like, "What'd you just say?"
because we were trying to keep we were trying to save our scorecards for the podcast. We did. Yeah.
We did. Yeah, we saved every
Besides
score.
my drunk ass at like 2 in the morning, but I was like, hey.
No, that was my favorite. Yeah, but every score you've heard for people watching, these are fresh reveals for us too.
Yeah, man, which, like I said, but like you said, whenever we first started talking about it, you thought I was like egregious for getting the Cannonier.
Oh,
I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't sell you. I'm not saying I sold you or convinced you, but I feel like I brought you closer to my side.
The Cannonier close.
The can.
Yeah. I hate that guy. Super good for the UFC. He's not the title holder. Now, a couple end of card notes I want to get to. I don't think Cannonier deserves a rematch. I think that was a boring fight.
Called the over 4.5 though. I'll toot my own horn there.
And Izzy by decision, which I also bet.
Nice.
So, thanks, man. That was a 6-legger that I just missed on the no contest. So if that no contest pays,
It's a 5-legger, which is
well, and O'Malley's on there as like
Oh, so
it's
it's a
under,
3-legger.
it's an under and. But if the under is a thing, it is under 2.5 rounds when the fight ends.
You're right. The under may cash.
I'm just saying that if O'Malley by decision, well, it's a no decision. So.
I literally have the word terrible in my notes. I don't think I've ever written that.
Terrible.
We're
terrible. I see it.
Like, I didn't even write that in my notes for the fucking Aspen Lad main event.
Wait, what's this last note? Calls out Pereira. Pereira better than?
Yeah.
You think Pereira wins the fight against Izzy? That's the fight. Izzy did say that's the fight. Alex Pereira will fight Israel Adesanya for his belt next.
Hammer Pereira under. Let's go. Let's ride.
This TikTok memory guy.
Let's ride.
This TikTok memory guy. I do think the under is going to be the one to take there. The under 2.5, because I think these guys are going to throw. They're both kickboxers.
Oh, you think Izzy's going to get a knockout? Snooze man McGee?
I think neither guy is going to fear each other shooting a takedown, and I think that's going to make them stand up straight and throw real shots.
Yeah.
They're not even going to
I think Izzy's going to dance around the outside, throw some leg kicks.
You think Pereira's not going to be good enough to catch him? Or to have... Because their footwork and everything is very equivalent. Like,
I think Pereira's the bigger guy, too.
I think so, too, and I think that can hem Izzy into a corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like
Pereira's
Pereira.
in a corner.
I like Pereira.
I'm not saying who I like because the counter strike is there all the time. And Pereira was first shot by Izzy before he knocked
And
him.
I also think Pereira is even bigger than Costa, as crazy as that sounds. So it's like,
No way. He's maybe more dense, but he's not as like inflated.
yeah, but I'm saying like I think that like translates to taking a shot better. He's like wiry.
Yeah, that might be true.
Like I think like I don't know, man.
All right, let me ask you
Now,
this.
now, granted, this is fucking Monday morning quarterback. Like, yeah, knee-jerk reaction.
It is literally Monday morning.
So it's like, I feel you. Maybe that's kind of a hot take. Like, maybe, you know, whenever it's time to actually hit the sports book, maybe I feel differently. But sitting right now, fucking give me, especially, it's going to be plus money. Maybe even play, what, plus 200, plus 250? Fucking give me that. Give it to me.
See, that's where I'm with you right here, right now, right? Is that if that's a plus money fight for Pereira, which I believe it is,
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be.
I am taking Pereira. Because
Yeah.
I think it's a 50-50 fight.
And if I'm taking Pereira, I'm taking it by finish because we all know judges love Izzy.
Well, I think Izzy's the point fighter, and I think Pereira is the knockout fighter.
Exactly. So I'm saying the two-legger of the under and Pereira is gonna pay fucking nice. You heard it here first. Beefy bet.
So the one thing we did not talk about is what do you think is next for Sean O'Malley?
And I want to talk about what's next for Cannonier because nobody ever talks about that.
Okay, that's fair. I want to talk about what's next for those two fighters, though.
What's next for O'Malley? I don't think it's going to be a rematch. Now, if it was a rematch, I'm totally cool with it because that fight, there's still I wanted to see. There's still a lot that we didn't find out. So like, I'm totally cool with the rematch. The way Sean was talking about it, he didn't say no. He didn't shut it down. He was just like, well, maybe.
It's hard for him to say no to an opportunity to fight inside the top 10 and in a fight where I thought he was winning. Like, why wouldn't he redo it? Because the dude literally
I
didn't
think he
connect
doesn't
The
redo
dude
it.
literally didn't connect a punch.
No, I agree, and that's why he would say yes. But if you're just like saying why would he say no, I think like it just doesn't like interest him that much. Like it's kind of oversimplification. Like that's not that good of a reason to not do something. But I'm just saying like I think that there's maybe like guys that talk more shit or bigger names or better opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Especially for a guy like Sugar.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but like
These are
that
fair
on,
points. These are fair points.
on the same side. Like if they rebooked it, like sign me up. Like cool, bet. Like
Yeah.
cool
It's
either way.
I'm,
Cool
happy,
either
I'm
way.
happy to see it. Let me just look up bantamweight.
Yeah.
Now
Like,
I don't even need to look it up. You know why I don't need to look it up? Because this guy won't be on there. Henry Cejudo did call him out.
Henry Cejudo calls him out.
In the most cringe fashion of all time, mid-interview, like Sean
With BT
O'Malley.
Sport.
Sean O'Malley is literally mid-interview, right after his fight, like in his fight shorts still. And Henry Cejudo, meanwhile, all the while I'm going to tell this story, just imagine Davis and Figueroa literally sitting in the corner right in between the two of them, like also being interviewed, looking fucking
That's who
hilarious.
should fucking fight is Cejudo and Figueredo.
That's what they've been calling for. But
that makes more sense.
But who knows if Cejudo can make that weight? Because Cejudo literally goes, yeah, Sean, why not? Because the reporter asked him a question about Cejudo. He says, yeah, Sean, why don't you come teach me a lesson or something like that? And O'Malley, like, literally turns and looks at him and goes, wait, are you being for real? Are you serious? And here Cejudo's like, he's like, calls him Precious.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, what do you think about that, Precious? I
Like,
love
he
a
said,
tuna.
I could use a tuna Precious. I love that was a good line by Cejudo.
Yeah, that was actually good.
Yeah,
that
I
was
fucked
actually
with
good
that.
shit talk. And then, goddamn, I hate that we just agreed on that. Like, he's the king of cringe. Like, he's triple C, maybe quadruple C with the fucking cringe
Yeah,
added in.
no doubt.
But essentially, the reason I ask is, O'Malley literally looks at me and goes, "How much do you weigh right now? Like, are you even good to fight?" And
Probably
like,
180.
it's a legit question. Yeah, like Cejudo is.
I've said that from the jump, but honestly, you know who else said it? Cejudo himself. When Cejudo wanted to call back, he was calling for the Volk fight. You know what that means? That means that he can't / doesn't want to make 35.
And he used to make 25. He used to make 125.
Yeah, no, he's been retired, and he's got a lot of money, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's eating good, but he's probably walking around like 170, 180 right now.
I think 170. I think he's
And
legit,
at his
like
biggest, he got up
175.
to like 200. And he's like, what, 5'1" or something like that?
5'1". Oh my god, you're fucked up. I think he's 5'5".
I don't think he is. I think he's like 5'3", 5'4". He's like really tiny. And like O'Malley's huge. No, that fight goes one of two ways. Either that fight goes, either Sugar Sean pieces him up and Cejudo can't get close, or Cejudo, literally the most qualified wrestler in the whole promotion, could potentially just ragdoll him and take him down for 5 rounds or 3 rounds. No, that'd be a 5-rounder probably. Fight night main event, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. No, they're gonna fight on a pay-per-view as the third from. They're gonna fight behind 2 belts. So Cejudo and O'Malley.
What do you think's better? I personally think fight night main event's better, but I could be wrong. Like, I'm not bullish on that.
Oh no, I definitely think third. I think third slot. If you're a top 3 fight on a pay-per-view, if you're the guys right before it,
because you're on the poster and.
Yes, and if you're the guys right before the 2 belts, people will tune in early because obviously they don't tell you a slated time, and so like they'll tune in early to get ready for it. Well, who's fighting? Those 2 guys. Yeah. So anyone that's gonna watch the champions, anyone that's a casual, you get a lot of casual fucking exposure.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks to everybody watching live right now. Appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Appreciate the one person hit the like button. We really appreciate that. That really helps us out. Feel free to leave a comment, see if you agree with any of our takes, disagree. Does Cejudo beat O'Malley? Does O'Malley beat Cejudo? Does that fight most likely not get booked? I really liked Cejudo Volk too. Like, that fight used to be talked about. Nobody talks about it
I think
anymore.
Cejudo Volk is the fight if Volk stays at 45.
Yeah, so
I think Arnold Allen and Josh Emmett need to fight to see who gets next to Yair.
I know you're right, favorite.
I guess Yair and Ortega. I don't know, man. I'm not mad at Yair if Yair wins.
No, because Yair got pieced up by Holloway.
No, that's what I'm gonna say. If Yair wins, I think he should have to fight Emmett or Arnold Allen to get the title shot.
Yeah, at that point you
because
kind of
then
fight
he
your way
beats
back.
Ortega, right?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
But if Ortega wins, then Ortega gets that immediate.
I'm
rematch.
hammering Ortega, and I'll put it that way.
I think Ortega gets that finish.
Yeah, I like the Ortega in the under.
Okay, now let's keep it sliding though, because I do want to ask you about the rankings as far as Cannonier, who he goes with next.
Yeah, pull up middleweight rankings.
So I got him right here.
Is it the 2 losers? Is it Strickland?
Yeah, I honestly think this is a quick conversation. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, sorry to waste everybody's time.
I mean, I think.
Or Whitaker.
Whitaker
already beat Cannonier.
Okay, let me be honest. I think Darren Till and Sean Strickland is an extremely fun fight.
And the shit talk would be.
Like, I think that's a better move. So keep that in mind, and we'll discuss what Cannonier would do if that was to be made. Because Cannonier then has the options of
already
Vettori.
beat Brunson.
I mean, I hate Brunson so much. I'd love to see him get put to sleep with elbows again. That'd be fucking sick.
There's nobody else, bro. You can't slide him all the way to Hermanson.
Costa. It's a Costa Vettori affair. I think Cannonier Vettori is the fight.
It could be. Vettori hasn't fought in a while. But see, I think the timeline doesn't work out good. The Cannonier Strickland timeline matches up. Exactly.
Yeah, but Darren Till ain't doing shit, so he matches up with her.
You're right. But it's one of those.
Yeah. I think Darren Till gets either Strickland or Cannonier, but I think Darren Till.
And Vittori's been talking a lot lately. It wouldn't have shocked me if he had something signed and it hasn't been announced yet. He's been kind of
Vettori Till? Vettori Till's fun. We didn't even talk about that.
See, I think it's a fun lead up. I don't think it's a fun fight. I think we've seen that story before.
Okay, well, Strickland and Till is very fun.
Yeah, and it's a fun fight because they'll stand up.
Strickland Till is very fun.
And that's a dope fight night.
Actually, that's the fight I'm campaigning for. Strickland Till. That's what.
I'll ride with you on that. That's fucking fun. That's sick.
That's a fight night main event. That's a fight night main event.
There's so much. They're gonna get so many
good.
media clips from the. You know what I mean?
It's a fight night main event. Like, they have to be fighting 25.
And then Hamzat probably will be involved talking shit in the background.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a good look. It's a lot of. It's a good television. You know, I agree. I think that's fantastic. Cannonier, not good television. Cannonier, not good television, but I do think from like a competitive architecture standpoint, Cannonier Strickland makes a lot of sense. They both lost on the same night.
See, that makes all the sense on earth. Now, the other problem I have, though, too, is Cannonier can fight way sooner than Sean Strickland can fight. Because Sean Strickland's going to have a 6-day medical suspension.
Yeah, but Cannonier's not the most active guy. I think he's cool fighting in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Because as soon as that suspension clears, Sean Strickland's down to go.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and he doesn't even do like full training.
How does Strickland respond to this? Because we haven't seen him be KO'd and come back since his motorcycle
KO'd him. I think he's fine, man. I think he's fine. And I don't mean fine like...
But is this one of those bad KOs where he has a weakened chin in his next fight? Because we've had a guy like Till that slides a big left hand over the side. His chin might be shot.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. If you're trying to get a
Like
good
the double
matchup,
KO, like you noted.
if
Like,
you're trying to get a good matchup for Strickland, then the Cannonier matchup, is probably.
I don't know if that's great. Cannonier throws bombs.
I guess time will tell. I think Strickland is like honestly though, like can we even if Strickland say he doesn't ever get a title shot or he never bounces back from this, like maybe 4 was even like maybe that's his ceiling. Like nobody really saw Strickland as a world championship talent, and he got to 4 in the world. Like I mean, if that's his ceiling, like I don't think anybody predicted that would even be a ceiling. He's kind of already overachieved. He's kind of already outkicked his coverage. So it's like that's when I say he's good, that's what I mean. Like I don't think he was ever even in his wildest dreams he thought he would be on a press conference talking shit with Israel Adesanya for a pay-per-view. Like if that's his peak, like I mean
It's so weird though, right? Because this man just fought Robert Whittaker last summer and had the opportunity to get this shot a year ago.
Strickland
And
fought Whittaker?
No, I'm sorry, Cannonier. I was thinking
oh
Cannonier.
yeah.
As far as the comparison, but like Strickland, he's his own brand. I don't even worry about what we do.
And there's and any fight at this point that you do with Strickland will be fun for that reason. So I guess if Strickland Till works, he's a main event guy.
Strickland, he sells. He sells.
Strickland,
he doesn't need to be the opponent. Name.
What if his future looks like? What if he's the middleweight Volkov? He's a main eventer. He's fighting these guys.
He's the Derek Lewis of the middleweights. Like
that's what I'm
not
saying.
With the same Volkov's a way better comparison for styles. But I'm just saying, Derek Lewis, I'll always buy a Derek Lewis fight, and he's never going to be the champion.
Yeah, you're right. And if that's how Strickland's career goes, I don't think you can really be too mad at
It's
that.
a Donald Cerrone career. It's a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, man. And so, like I said, and I think that's common. And our best case scenario, our worst case scenario, like you said, Strickland's chin shot. He starts getting knocked out a bunch.
I do worry about that.
It goes south, and I do not want to see that.
I
don't
worry
want to
about
see
that.
that.
Cabrera has life-changing power. That shit's real.
I do not want to see him be like, be the new Cowboy Oliveira. You know
yes,
what I mean?
exactly.
Like, go out like sad. I don't want to see him go out like that. But,
Man.
hey, man, that wraps up episode 94 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. Thanks for everybody that watched. Give us a subscribe. Click that thumbs up button. Leave a comment if you disagree or agree with some of our takes. Let us know if you hit any bets this week. Let us know if you like Howlerhead.
Howlerhead.
And then...
actually, tell me what you think of these. If you have them in your local place and you drink Happy Dads, actually just tell Steve how shitty they are.
Yeah, they suck. But, yeah, man, episode 94 in person. Love you, brother.
Love you, bro. So happy to get to do
this is so great. This has been a long time coming. 2 years in the works. Spent a lot of money, a lot of time, traveled a lot of miles to make it happen. So I hope you appreciate it. And just give us that little like. Give us that little comment. We appreciate it. Just a little. Just give me what you got. Just give me what you got. Give me what you got. But hey, appreciate everybody. Beefy Boys Breakdown, episode 94. UFC 276 Snooze Fest. Let's go.